Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. Alright, we have a really fun second episode today. We're going to be reviewing Immortal X-Men number 3. And before we get dived into that, I do want to let you guys know about the 300 subscriber giveaway. Now, when we hit 300 subscribers, we'll be giving this book away. It's the Absolute Carnage Murderos store variant exclusive. All you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and be subscribed to the channel, and that'll give you a chance to win the book. When we hit 300 subscribers, we'll raffle the book off, and I'll put a video up notifying the winner. And yeah, alright, let's get dived into Immortal X-Men number 3 with that really sweet cover. Check out that painting cover. That's awesome. I thought it was. With Destiny front and center, and we're gonna see why. Now, as always, I do want to let you guys know that we're going to be going heavy into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Immortal X-Men number 3, that's your warning. Next up, we do got to shout out the creative team, because without the creative team we wouldn't have a comic book, right? So to start, we have Kieran Gillen is the writer, the artist is Lucas Wernick, the colors are done by Dijo Lima, and the letters are done by VC's Clayton Cowles. Alright, and there is a foreword, and I'll go ahead and start right there. It says, the island nation of Krakoa was founded under the idea of mutant sovereignty and is governed over by the collective known as the Quiet Council. Hope has assumed Magneto's seat on the council after his departure and showcased her abilities in leadership and action in the chaos that Selene unleashed following her own rejection for the position. But while some council members like Exodus are thrilled at Hope's appointment, others like Xavier still rankle at it. Plus, as recent events seem to be falling into place for Sinister's mysterious plans, Destiny's visions of the future grow more and more troubling. And that is where we start with Destiny's visions of the future. And Destiny says, thinks, I was 13 when the future opened up before me. And we get I have to show this first panel. We get this really cool, I'd almost recommend pausing and just kind of checking out all the different, it's awesome. All the different X-Men iterations and bad guy stuff going on there. And so she thinks, right, I saw both the temporal worlds and all the worlds collide. Thanks to the latter, I knew this dual state wouldn't linger. I would lose my human sight in months. My mutant sight would dim after my first overwhelming flush of pre-consciousness. From the beginning, I was determined to use my time well. Others would have traveled or communed with nature like a parody of a romantic soul. I was even more romantic. I used the time to write. 13 volumes in 13 months. They all described everything I had seen in a mix of truth and lie. I did so with the wisdom of youthful cynicism. The future was an open book to me, but to others it must be concealed. I always loved books. The last thing I ever saw with my mortal eyes was the last line of the final volume. Artists often talk about writing a book that will make them immortal. I had done it. My work was done. My work had barely begun. Krakoa now. And we see she's in the bed, basically unconscious. And Mystique is very worried. And Emma Frost comes in with Mystique. Mystique's brought her, and she says, can you help her, but don't probe her mind too much. And Mystique, she's like, Emma Frost is like, you can trust me, Mystique. And Mystique's pretty upset about it, and they're not able to help her at this point. But Mystique says she would not leave me like this. She would have warned me. This time she would have told me. I made it clear never die again without warning me. My wife would not leave me like this. And Destiny thinks, because she could like hear everything going on, she just can't she can't move or do anything. She thinks wife rhymes with life. I loved the word. I always wanted one. I would ensure there would be a world where I can have one in deed and word. Seeing futures makes understanding one's nature a lot easier. I was, in the language of my times, an invert. The futures I saw made it clear and undeniable, and showed were not admitting so would lead me. I saw futures where I was dutiful and depressed, chained by a society to a variety of men who held scant interest to me. The best were velvet cages, the worst were scourges. I did not survive them, not in any way that counted, and I saw the alternative. The first time I made Raven laugh was when I embarrassingly confessed that I'd walked into that room knowing I'd fall in love with her. She said she did wonder why I seemed so nervous when I walked in, and I told her that the nerves were gone by the time we spoke. They were replaced of the nervous shiver of being in the presence of one so divine. She smiled at that too. I think of what a friend of mine claimed, that a bemused Queen Victoria asked upon discovering her lovers were women, "What do you do?" I know how I'd answer, "Whatever we want." Forever. She was my first, crucial nexus. Nexuses are key to understanding what I do. My gift works by seeing possible futures. In the short term, I predict things uncannily, but look out, Colossus will arrive through a wall in 3 seconds. It's not much use saving the world. Chaos theory, small changes make the future a flux. Nexuses are the landmarks which let me navigate either away or toward. For example, take climate change. Any choice which does not stop the world cooking is a choice that is ultimately irrelevant when playing the long game. A nexus is an event which pulls timelines towards it, meaning things after it are more predictable for better or worse. There are other nexuses, small or large. There are waypoints on a journey or their terminus. Think of me as a chess player, searching for such moments and then pushing history either away from or toward each nexus gravity well of probability. Mystique and I being together made me complete. The me without her is no me at all. She was a nexus, a necessary step to everything I had to do. I'd have burned the universe for us to be together. She was the best nexus. I knew my next was harder to reach. For the future to happen, we had to be apart. For the future to happen, I had to die. Krakoa was the limit of my vision. It could be a mutant paradise. It could make us all immortal. It could be special enough to save the world from all the dark nexuses around it. I could not see why, but I knew there was no Krakoa if I lived. I know why. Moira. I'd have killed her and so prevented Krakoa from ever happening. I had to be away for this possible utopia to be born. I chose the nexus which best skewed the odds and pushed toward it. I would die on Muir Island in the hope that I could be saved. I couldn't tell Raven I regret this. I told her to burn down Krakoa if they wouldn't bring me back, but I couldn't tell her I was going to die. I have a secret. It is awful and shameful, and I hate to admit it. As I skim through the futures and see horrors and death unending, I have a mantra I say to myself, my gift is a gift. Yes, my life would be over without my mutation, but it would also be easier without it. And so, the shame, even I, the greatest mutant terrorist, occasionally wish I was not. Do you not hate me? You do not know what it is to be me. Perhaps if you listen, you will. I died, and my last thought was sorrow for the sorrow I was causing. Love is both a gift and a curse, too. I left a Raven alone then, and I leave her alone now. As we go to the council, and Charles is talking to everyone in the council, and he says, and that hope is the last of the secrets of the island. It should bring you up to date. And we hear Destiny thinking, at this council meeting, hope is being brought into our conspiracy, explaining the truths of Krakoa, known only to the High Table. specifically Moira's part in it. Hope says, I understand. So why is it a secret? Why don't we just tell everyone on Krakoa? We should do that. And Professor Xavier says, Hope, I'm afraid that is a terrible idea. Nightcrawler says, it's an ethical idea, Homo Superior. We've got to at least try to be better. Hope says, why the pushback? Come on, Charles. You knew what you were getting. Why did you give me a Cerebro helmet if you didn't want me to get more involved? And Charles says, I did no such thing. And you get some more of Destiny thinking, my dearest Raven took certain steps to ensure my return. Not all of it was honest. Not all of it is known. In seconds it will be. If I was there, I'd catch her attention with a tilted head and soothe her. She is not alone. Another loss. This is a gift. As Hope says, you did. You came and gave me a helmet. I thought it was a reward for good work, or... And Charles says, I assure you I did not. The division of the elements of resurrection protocols is important. And we get Mr. Sinister saying, I also had a strange visitor. Magneto came to me, asking for all the Destiny DNA. I was entirely convinced it was him. But now, Hope has revealed this shocking truth. There are other possibilities. And if the shape changer in question wasn't me, I wonder who it could be. And I have to show this because it's hilarious. Yeah, the Mr. Sinister, as he says that, he kind of shape changes his head into Mystique jokingly. It's great. And she is quite upset with that, Mystique is, and she says, you take my form again and I will murder you. And Mr. Sinister says, attempted murder at best. You'd have to bring down all of Krakoa to actually murder anyone now. And Destiny thinks, I would not put it past her. I see probability and my love regularly beats the odds. If I was there, I'd help her navigate this, but my love would still follow her own road. As Mystique says, you know, burning all this down was my other option. Lying to a few of you to bring Destiny back is better than that. And as I turned this page, guys, I was just like, my breath was kind of taken away. And I'll show you this. Yeah. And she says, this is more Destiny thinking, the council argues over the deceit of a woman whose gift is deceit. My gift leaves me prone, consumed once more. It is like that first time, even more so. The near future slips away, and my mind rushes outward. I was in a body that was mere weeks old when the future opened up to me once more. And so she awakes from her slumber there on the couch, her bed, you know, where she was not able to wake up. And check that out. Like, I'm gonna even hold it. You pause it if you want. Look at all of this. It's going on here on this side. That is stunning. Like, absolutely stunning. And so yeah, she's checking all of that out, all these different possible futures and what could possibly be. And then we get this, like, future, what, like, kind of like a Destiny visions of the future and what kind of different things could possibly happen. And there are, like, lots of different possibilities, as you guys can see. If you want to pause that, I'm not going to read every single one, but she thinks it is different. There is less future. Most timelines end sharply, a dramatic nexus than blackness. It turns out that we don't have to worry about climate change anymore. It turns out we don't even have to worry about Orcus annihilation anymore. Any victory is slight before nothing. Or am I wrong? Is something of such power blocking my vision somehow? All the timelines end in wars and horror. I see people die time and time over. I stay calm as I count futures filled with corpses. My gift is a gift. What's happening? I look for common threads, clues. I find little but scant candles in the dark. I cannot give up. I reach. I reach the furthest candle, a flicker far in the dark, deep space, a word, expanse, the distant reach of a mutant church empire. I see a fiery starship, the size of an actual star. A second vessel. Oh God, it's lined with clone meat. Another word for Nathaniel Essex Shaw batteries, massive amounts of kinetic energy stored inside the grown muscle of a long dead man. I know who thinks like that. Nathaniel Essex, a toddler who would turn up to any party and assume that all the gifts are his. As we see Nathaniel Essex in this future timeline being killed by what looks to be Vulcan or some sort of crazy god. I'll go ahead and show you guys. I don't know this guy, and he kills Nathaniel in this future timeline. And there's blackness again, and she's like, and then only blackness, as if his death triggered the destruction of that timeline. He can't do that. Only Moira can. No, Moira's gift could do that. Nathaniel has cloned Moira. And so she's figured out what's going on. And so back at the council, Hope's saying, you promised me you'd bring her back. Or Mystique saying, you promised me you'd bring her back. You were never going to do it. What did you expect me to do? And Charles says, you're the ends justify the means terrorist, Raven. It's a little late for you to play the romantic idealist. And we have the one girl, I forget her name off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Yeah, her. If I could get to the page. God, that's what keeps throwing me off is this new outfit they have Kitty Pryde in. It's kind of weird. She's like the captain's outfit. Okay, so Kitty Pryde says, wow, Chuck, that's some real Professor Xavier's a jerk energy you're throwing out there. And Charles says, I'm sorry, but I'm a little tired of you all judging the steps Eric, Moira, and I took to take you to paradise. You get to take it wherever you want now. I may be the architect, but I am not a dictator. I hope that is clear to you. But however you presently feel about me, do not get distracted from what's happened here. What Mystique has done is beyond the limits of simple politics. This is an active subversion of our government, undermining its system simply because of her own needs. Can we seriously accept her presence on this council? As they kind of think about that for a second, and from the distance, Destiny walks in and says a war is coming in weeks. We must all fight for our immortality. We must be ready. If your schemed for utopia matters to you at all, you should thank my love for bringing me back, and everyone else should curse those who kept me from you for their own petty needs. And a lot of people are... Kitty Pryde's like, And Emma Frost says, would you submit to being scanned to test the visions? And Nathaniel Shaw thinks she's got a point. I'm fed up with being manipulated. Prove it, woman. Destiny says, no, I don't trust any of you in my head. After everything, you must see why. But I am committed to the cause of mutants more than anyone. We must have a future. And Vulcan says, this is a lot of faith to put in anyone. Destiny replies, I thought a man of mutant faith would have more trust in a literal mutant prophet. He says, she is correct. And Destiny thinks, as I thought probable, Exodus is the first to fall. The rest follow. Let hope keep the helmet. She earned it. And we must think on the nature of the conspiracy a little longer. What's done is done. I try not to reveal the fact I know that what we've done can easily be undone. Does Nathaniel know that I know? I can't give it away. And if I do, he kills Moira, and I'm back to square one. The universe is a snow globe tossed between the hands of a gin-addled child. I must tiptoe through a minefield of annihilated futures. We must play hide-and-seek in the dark. Some things never change. I suppose these are the things that are immortal. As she ends up she ends up going back home with Destiny later, or with Mystique later that evening, and they're kind of hugging and kissing, and she thinks we are intertwined, a rope through time, a red thread in this skein of fate. I write my testament in denial of my visions. It's a book for Raven, a book she does not read in any of them, because did you notice? All those futures, they share something in common. And so here we have Destiny and Mystique embracing, and on the last panel, what all the futures share in common is that Raven isn't in any of them. There is no future, not in any way that counts. And the sadness on her face there, on Destiny's face. So yeah, Immortal X-Men number 3. Gillen is it was just like a really I just had a lot of fun with that one, and yeah, there's a lot of alliterative writing, and you know what I'm saying, like he just really goes into details on a lot of it, and I was definitely enjoying kind of Destiny's perspective, and yeah, there's the first couple issues, it's kind of each one has been a focus on a different player on this council, right? So if you think about the first issue, we focused on Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex, and all of the evil things that he's been doing. And then in the second issue, we focused all on Hope Summers and her emergence and joining onto the council and the reasons why and everything like that. And in this one, now we're focused on Destiny and the visions of the future that she's seeing. My little prediction, obviously, is that she's kind of foreseeing the upcoming crossover with the Avengers and Eternals. So that's that's probably what she's kind of foreseeing there, because that's, if you guys don't know, Eternals is also being written by Kieran Gillen. So yeah, that's a crossover that's coming up. So I think that's definitely playing a part in the bad visions of the future that Destiny's seeing, and the fact that she thinks everybody needs to work together now to preserve Krakoa. And yeah, no, it was really, yeah, you guys heard a lot of it. It's good. And the artwork too, like from the panels that I was showing, man, some of this stuff was like jaw-droppingly, and it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like the art kind of set it up, but it was also the colors, because the colors in this issue really highlight a lot of the art and make it pop out. So it was, it's a two-part thing there, and yeah, it was married very well. Some of the, like I said, like it, you guys get this when you turn that page sometimes to the next page, and you're just like, wow, that happened in this book for me a couple of times. And yeah, it was a good roller coaster of a issue. So I give X-Men number 3 a thumbs up. And yeah, that's what I have today. All right. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe for your chance to win the Absolute Carnage #1 Murder Rose variant cover. And if you want to help support the channel, click the link below, shop on my eBay store, and I'll send you some comic books. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day.